Bernedoodle versus Goldendoodle breed comparison. The Goldendoodle has long since been the most popular of the Doodles, to the point where some people don't even know that there are other kinds. Because of their massive popularity, breeders have set their sights on mixing other dogs with poodles with some very exciting results. One of those breeds is the Bernedoodle, which is a mix between a Bernese Mountain Dog and a standard Doodle. Today we are going to be comparing the Bernedoodle and Goldendoodle so that you have a better expectation about what both do well and what makes them unique. A little about Bernedoodles. Bernese Mountain Dogs are known for their incredible size, and so it's no surprise whatsoever to discover that Bernedoodles are some of the biggest doodles that you can find. The major drawback of the Bernese Mountain Dog for a lot of people is that although their coat is luxurious and fluffy, it also causes them to shed quite a lot. This can be annoying for owners who have to vacuum and sweep all the time just to keep up with their massive dog's shedding habits, and can make people weary about owning one. Bernedoodles are usually very smart, as both the poodle and Bernese Mountain Dog are very intelligent breeds. A little about Goldendoodles. On the flip side of things is the Goldendoodle, which is the result of a golden retriever and poodle. As you probably know, golden retrievers are much smaller than Bernese Mountain Dogs and are best known for their fun-loving and playful temperament. This made golden retrievers extremely successful as family dogs and the most popular dog around for a very long time. When adding the poodle to the mix, the resulting Goldendoodle gets lankier limbs and an adorably goofy appearance. As we'll get into shortly, doodles can look very different depending on the generation you're picking from, which has its own aesthetic as well as functional benefits and drawbacks. How big do they both get? We touched a little before about how Bernedoodles usually wind up being a bit larger than the Goldendoodle, but by how much? Well, typically a standard Bernedoodle, which is the largest size, comes in between 70 to 90 pounds, compared to about 50 to 65 pounds in the case of the Goldendoodle. Both of these are considered to be large breeds, however, and so their needs will largely remain the same. This is all because while golden retrievers are only about 55 to 65 pounds themselves, compared to the whopping 115 pounds of the massive Bernese Mountain Dog, there is more variability amongst a litter with crossbreeds, which obviously both the Golden and Bernedoodle are, but reputable breeders will still be able to give you a range of about where the dogs will end up as adults. If you want to go a little smaller, you can also opt for a miniature or even tiny Bernedoodle though, which weigh around 24 to 49 pounds or 10 to 24 pounds. The Goldendoodle also comes in multiple sizes, with the medium being 30 to 45 pounds and the miniature being 15 to 25 pounds. The Bernedoodle generally will always be bigger and taller than the Goldendoodle, which means they will require a bit more space and exercise too, so keep that in mind. The difference in behavior. Even more interesting than how different they will be in size, and probably more important too, is how these two breeds behave. In the case of the Goldendoodle, you have what may just be the most approachable dog experience. Goldendoodles are friendly but not overwhelming, and a lot of people actually recommend them as a way to get used to owning a dog if you've never done it before. They tend to want to spend as much time as possible with their owners, but are also able to socialize with other dogs easily. The same is true for the Bernedoodle, and both of these dogs are considered great companion pets. Both are good family dogs too, and do well with small children. Goldendoodles are very attentive and are often seen as guide dogs and therapy dogs because of their ability to connect with people. Bernedoodles, with their size, might be a little more dangerous for people physically unable to stand up to them, like the elderly, but they are also much calmer on average than the Goldendoodle. Because of this, you shouldn't have to really worry about them jumping on people or knocking them over. But just like with any dog, it's important to train both of these doodles so that they can be at their best around other dogs and people. Life expectancy. While it can be an uncomfortable thought to imagine how long your dog companion will be with you, it's also an important factor for many people. For the case of the Goldendoodle, on average they live around 10 to 15 years, with 12 years being the median age. This is a fairly long lifespan, but it is still shorter than the surprisingly long lifespan of the Bernedoodle. This crossbreed can live anywhere between 12 to 18 years, which is incredibly surprising because of how big it is. For reference, breeds like Great Danes and Mastiffs only live for about 8 years because of how large their bodies are. To get these dogs to the later ages, though, you will have to make sure to pick from a reputable breeder, frequently take them to the vet, and just generally take care of them in the ways that they need. Preventative treatment is a huge deal here, and making sure that you know everything that is going on with your own doodle will allow you to stay on top of things and stop any potential problem in its tracks. Are either prone to health conditions? Like most major dog breeds, both of the Bernedoodle and Goldendoodle can have some health conditions that slow them down, although neither stands out as being all that much more than the other. Things like allergies, hip dysplasia, and some skin disorders can affect Goldendoodles and are worth looking out for. Bernedoodles, most of those same problems can impact them too, but it's still worth noting that both are generally healthy dogs, and many of them will never experience any of these difficulties. Hybrid dogs are typically much healthier than purebreds since they have something called hybrid vigor. This essentially means that when you cross two different breeds of dogs together, the resulting dog isn't impacted by either genetic diseases. This wears off as you cross the dogs together for more generations, but it is a great thing about owning a crossbreed. Variations in coats and grooming. Both of these dogs can vary a bit in appearance, with the Bernedoodle even more so than the Golden. Both breeds can have straight, curly, or wavy fur as a result of the poodle genetics, and the Goldendoodle usually appears with the classic golden-colored fur that you see on golden retrievers, with some slight variations. Bernedoodles usually have a tri-colored black, white, and brown look, but can also sport a really unique sable coat too. If you are looking to stand out with a doodle unique to your own, you'll have more opportunities to do so with the Bernedoodle when it comes to coat color. The Bernedoodle's fur is also a bit high maintenance, however, and they will need to be brushed twice weekly, once with a specialized brush in order to prevent things like matting. This isn't much more than the Goldendoodle though, which doesn't require a special brush, but does need to be brushed every week or two. Both breeds also should be taken to a professional groomer every few weeks in order to keep their coats in as good of condition as possible. Which breed is easier to train? Both of these breeds are very intelligent dogs, which makes sense as both the Bernese Mountain Dog and Golden Retriever are considered to be smart animals. As a result, it shouldn't take long for you to train either, although you might find it a bit easier to train a Goldendoodle. Bernedoodles aren't hard per se, but they can be more stubborn, especially as puppies, and so that can make the experience a bit more challenging. Training in general is more important for the Bernedoodle, however, and if this isn't handled correctly, they are more likely to develop behavioral problems as they get older that aren't the easiest to deal with. With a little training, though, they are about as lovable and easygoing as it gets. Pricing. When it comes to upfront costs, the Bernedoodle is usually a tad bit more expensive than the Goldendoodle. This is partially because they haven't been popular for as long as the Goldendoodle is, but is mainly due to their tri-color coat. Usually this fetches a higher price, and so it's not uncommon to pay more for that alone. In terms of maintenance, both of these dogs require basically the same thing: consistent monitoring of their health from a vet and regular grooming. This makes them a bit more expensive than other types of dogs and is the drawback to having a mostly hypoallergenic breed. Honestly, anyone would be lucky to own either a Bernedoodle or a Goldendoodle, and they are both great dogs. Luckily, they both have enough defining characteristics that you can pick one based on preference, and either way, you are going to be getting a friendly and loyal companion. If you like this video, which we sure hope you did, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more doodle videos just like this one. Until next time!